I almost forgot. Hello, welcome to the Stereotypical Podcast. I'm gone. Hello and welcome to Stereotypical, the podcast about music and the people that make it. My name is Liam McGrath. I am, as always, joined by Mr. Jack O'Neill. How you doing?
Yeah, good mate. I'm doing fine.
You seem quite.
I'm zen.
Is that what this is?
Zen. Very zen.
You would.
We're in a more comfortable setting. I'd say the most comfortable. Oh, sorry, the explicit is already out.
That was fun.
Most comfortable we've been.
Yeah.
In a pod setting.
What sparked this is, if you haven't seen the last episode, we were on
dicking around. If you've not seen the last one,
fishing chairs, camping chairs. Yeah. In a field, and that was quite comfortable. You know what I did think about as well? So the original inception for the idea of us doing a podcast together was going to be this podcast that we did one episode of when we were in college, called the On the Couch podcast.
Oh, is that what it was called?
This is the first time we've ever done a podcast on the couch. Even the On the Couch podcast, we didn't actually record on a couch.
Oh yeah, I vaguely remember now doing that one.
Yeah,
was that with the Tascam?
Yeah, we sat up in the studio.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was probably in my bedroom actually, because it's before the studio was a thing.
I don't think it was in your room.
Oh, was it in the studio? But either way, like, because we used to just sit in Costa.
That was Coldplay.
Coldplay in the Brits and stuff. Yeah. Because we
something
used to
just like this.
Yeah. We used to sit in Costa in St Helens and on the couch at the back and just chat during our break in college, which is what like sparked the idea for this in the first place.
We should film ourselves chatting shit.
Many moons ago, yeah. Living the dream.
But yeah, it's the most comfy we've been. It's very zen.
Yeah.
What would you say that portrait is of you there?
Oh, there's a portrait on the wall of me in Budapest.
It's just a very strange picture. I think
I don't think it's just looking. I'll put it on the screen for the people.
Yeah, like it's a decent Instagram post, but for like a family room.
Yeah,
it's just a bit too much.
Yeah, I quite like it.
Did you pick it? It was like, I want this picture of me.
No.
It was Mandy like, you're having a picture of you.
It's a fan favourite, that one.
In the family living room.
Yeah. I like it because it makes me look cool. You know what I mean? It's better than like ones of me as a kid.
It's like half of your face is hidden. Anyway, let's fucking not do this again.
No, vibes.
Fair play, you do you.
Let's not do what again? What are you on about?
It's like slating you for a good 10 minutes.
Oh, right, okay. Sound. Well, you had said to me previous to recording today that you were interested in talking about the idea of the dream.
Yeah, so like the dream as a concept, like he's just like making it, isn't it?
Right.
Like I'd say that's the dream. Like what's a dream? It's like everyone's like, oh, just doing it, like having the money there and being comfortable and like living like fucking your best life possible.
Right, yeah.
I guess like the first thing we could talk about is like, like the American dream. Like how real is the dream? Right, okay, because have you ever seen, what's the film, broski? What's the film with Jared Leto with? And Requiem for a Dream.
No,
I've spoken about it many times.
Right.
Yeah, you'd like it. You like Donnie Darko, yeah?
I've never seen it, you know.
What?
Yeah.
You've never seen Donnie Darko?
No.
Well, you've done fucked up.
Well,
but Donnie Darko's good, but Requiem for a Dream's good as well. But like, I think when I watched like a behind the scenes thing, it was talking about the American dream, and they start off pursuing things, and then like they get into like drugs and like problems, and like the ending's fucking twisted.
Right.
But it's kind. Anyway, yeah, we digress. The dream, like how attainable is the dream?
Well, I think
is the dream real?
Well, because the dream is many different things, right? So I think the American dream has permeated like British culture and become sort of just the dream of like the nice house and like the decent job and the family and the nice car and shit like that. You know what I mean? That's like that's the regular person dream.
What, like the suburban dream?
Yeah, it's almost the dream that you have if you have no dreams. You know what I mean?
That's not nice.
It's like the standard dream that you would have of just a regular life if you didn't have, you know, like hefty career aspirations or like a passion that you wanted to pursue as the dream of quote unquote making it.
Yeah. I would say like the people who have the dream of making it, like I'd say it's like a smaller percentage.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do you know what I mean? Like people like when you're saying like the nice house, nice car and stuff. I'd say that's a very fucking common thought. Like
well, this is what I mean. So that's the standard. That has become the standard.
Oh right,
for what
I get you.
Quote unquote
the dream.
good life is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To have all these things go well for you. You can own a nice car. You can own your own house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've got a nice wife. You've got 2 kids and a dog.
This is my wife.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
But that's like the regular person dream. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which can be different to, I guess, if we're talking, music podcast, like the making it dream, as in making
it big.
Making like almost being a success in your field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of people who are maybe pursuing the American dream, shall we say the suburban dream,
yeah.
are pursuing it on like a money level. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's not necessarily I'm going to do this job to be the best at my field because this is the thing that I'm passionate about. It's like I'm going to try and get high up in this field so that I can earn money.
Yeah, like I was just thinking then when you said like about the careers and stuff, like the dream can like being successful and making it big. Like I just think it's about how different it can be in like certain different jobs, like you were just saying. Like if you're into like science,
right?
Like what do you think the dream would be, science-wise?
Well,
like do you think like fucking NASA? Like, is it going into your own research?
Science is probably similar to if you're talking about like the music and the art world. You know what I mean? It's sort of breaking new ground. It's about the achievement of the actual thing that you're doing, rather than the achievement is just a way to get money.
I was going to say, do you think people prefer the achievement and the success or the money? Because I think it used to, back in the day, sort of come hand in hand, do you know what I mean? The more successful you were, the more money you would get. But obviously with like streaming now and like TikTok.
Well, are we talking just musically?
Yeah, just music. Like success now in the music world can be gained overnight. It's a very fucking common thing.
Right, yeah.
Can be very short-lived. Like, do you think there's people that I guess it's kind of like chasing the high in it for like drugs or adrenaline?
Well, actually I was just before you got here listening to a podcast and they were talking something similar of like the music has almost become a thing that if you become like a popular internet personality, for example, that one of the next career steps is I'll start putting out music. You know what I mean?
Right, like Bella Porch.
Because it's, I don't know who that is, but because it's so like, it's such an accessible thing now and it's become so easy to just churn out music and you could even like self-release it. So let's say you're an Instagram personality.
Yeah.
And you've got like a fucking million followers and maybe you've started a YouTube that's got, decent couple of thousand followers.
Right.
And a way for you to elevate that has become like music. It's almost along the same lines as the way that like YouTubers will release merch and stuff, you know what I mean?
Like I was going to say, like obviously like people from other platforms do tend to try and get into YouTube because it's the money maker.
Yeah.
And like that will gain, like the success could lead into that, which is then the money, do you know what I mean? Because like, like the big Vine stars that went over, or like TikTokers that go over, or like you're saying Instagram people that go over. I'd say success and money is different in that way. It's like the dream. Because like you can be massive on TikTok, get 60 million views a video, but like there's no money in it.
Yeah.
So I just think they'd be happy. People would be happy with that sort of success, like making it on TikTok.
Well, yeah, because it's a weird line, isn't it? Because we're talking about the dream versus money, right? And some people are more inclined towards the dream in like an artistic sense of like like you're saying, maybe their goal is just I want my content to be seen by X amount of people, and that's the dream, right? Yeah. And then the money you think about later when you look at it and go, these millions of views on TikTok haven't actually made me that much money. But it's an afterthought, It's like you're not going, I want to be a TikTok star because I want to earn X amount of money. You're going, I really enjoy making this kind of content and I want as many people to see it as possible.
Yeah. Like we've spoken about before how like, I can't think of like a way to describe it, but like social norms and the way people like perceive careers And there's a lot of kids cutting about these days like, oh, I want to be a YouTuber, I want to be a YouTuber, I want to be a streamer, which is, it is like an attainable thing to do because like a lot of people do it. But like, especially when you're in like a sort of arts business and like you tell someone like, oh, what do you want to be? They're like, oh, I want to be a singer. Oh, I want to be an actress. People look at you like you're fucking stupid, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like people just like look at you and go, oh, well, if that doesn't work, what are you going to do?
Yeah, and it's weird, that people don't really think of, because now a career on the internet is such a popular thing.
Mm-hmm.
People don't think about it in the same way as they think about music or being an actor or whatever, when really they kind of should, because what actually happens is we see like the top fucking 1% of most successful musicians, and the same is true with YouTubers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's like people look at it and go, oh, like these people are really successful, I could do that. But it's because they don't see. Was I telling you the other day where are you gonna take that?
Yeah, pause her.
Bastard.
Hello? No, I'm just in the middle of a podcast. All right. Okay, no worries. Bye-bye.
Anyway, I don't know if I was telling you the other day, and I don't know how true this statistic is, right? But I heard it somewhere, so I feel like maybe at least at one point was some truth about it, that 90% of YouTube accounts don't get over 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, I can see that being true.
Which is crazy, because then we are literally seeing the top 1%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same. I also saw a statistic of like the bottom 65% of OnlyFans accounts earn less than £100 a month. You know what I mean? And it's because these things like being a YouTube star,
passive income,
being
like
being like
that's ASOS money for someone out there.
Being an OnlyFans model, all these things have become like a trend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These careers are what's in right now.
I just kind of think about it like how like especially a lot of like younger people that are like especially going into college and like doing degrees and stuff. And like when they like say, oh, I'm thinking about being an actress, or I'm really trying to be a singer and trying to push myself. Everyone just kind of looks down on them sort of people.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
But then, like, when Beyonce comes on or Rihanna comes on, everyone's like, pave the way, golden path, red carpet. These people are like, untouchable superstars. And I just think it's like hypocritical in it.
Oh yeah, massively.
Like, how can you expect people to like do good if every single person is like putting these creative people down?
And I think it's an important message to give to people who are aspiring creatives that like, you almost kind of need to discard your immediate surroundings. You know what I mean? Like sometimes me and Sean will think, whether it's like a content idea or something musical, and we'll be like, oh, is this cringe?
Right.
And it's like, or even like the idea of shooting a podcast at Spike Island, right? Like the last podcast. If you're from where I'm from, Spike Island. And people go, oh, that's a bit gimpy that, just going to fucking Spike Island to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But most people aren't your immediate surroundings, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's more people that have watched the clips from that last podcast on TikTok than I know personally, by far, you know what I mean?
I'm just trying to think of like how like that sort of perception like affects people's dreams.
Yeah, so
like how... Like what like we've had the conversation before, like what would you be happy with? So obviously you're like, actively trying to pursue a career in music.
Right.
And like we've had the conversation before, like where's the bar that you want to reach? What's the bar that you'd like to reach? And like what is the actual fucking goal?
Yeah.
Because I think that's mad that the goal is like up here, but you got to think like 3 steps down to think what's like okay.
Yeah. I mean, it changes. At least for me,
daily.
For me, it changes with age, because with age comes desperation. Like
100%, man.
Like I used to, when I was younger, I was very much like, I'm gonna be a singer-songwriter. I'm gonna be a producer. I'm gonna be an artist, and that's what I'm gonna be. Right.
Right.
And for the longest time, I didn't even consider anything else outside of that. and the idea of like maybe being a session musician or like playing in bars for money, I always looked down on that as like, why the fuck would I? That's not what I want to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I've had conversation with Jono in the past where he's like, oh, like such and such a musician we know has just got a job writing like jingles for adverts. Like, would you not want to do something like that? And I'm like, I always said to him, you assume that my priority list of potential careers is like the goal, you know, the artist, producer, singer, songwriter, then anything else music related, and then all these other potential career options. When in fact, I was like, oh no, it's like the goal, and then other things that I'm interested in, and then other music related things.
Right.
Because almost to some degree, to get close, i.e. make a career out of music, but it not be the career you want out of music, is worse than not doing it at all. Like to be a struggling musician that's making like 30 grand a year, if that, for the rest of your life, is worse than just getting a job at something that isn't related to the dream. You know what I mean?
That's a fucking crazy take. Right. I think that's a crazy take.
But this is the dichotomy that I constantly wrestle with, because I don't know if I actually think that. Like that, the more time is going on, the more I'm like my thing at the minute is I want to change from working in audio and working in theatre to performing in whatever capacity that is. Right. So like I'm like, okay, well I'll learn covers and I'll try and play in bars for money. You know
covers is like a fucking buzzword, isn't it, man?
Yeah.
Like when people say covers, like what's that? The meme where I was like, and like swatting themselves in the head. Like I was like, oh god.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway,
no, I don't. But
you do. Like when you said that before, like I instantly thought about like when we was in Barcelona.
Yeah.
And like we stopped halfway up that hill, and you was like, lad, we're fucking high up anyway. Like, what's the difference? Like, does it really matter? Yeah. And I was like, I can't believe you've got that mentality of like, we have gone far, but we're so close to being like unrealistically different. Mm-hmm. Like that's the way I sort of see.
Yeah, but it's not a giving up on the goal.
Yeah, you were saying you'd rather not be at that level, like struggling to get to said goal. You'd rather just fucking.
Well, this is what I thought, but I'm sort of having to come to terms with the fact that like music is the only thing that I can do. Yeah, no, like, but all the other things I enjoy are just other creative pursuits that are equally as difficult to make a thing. It's like podcasting or a YouTube channel or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Like it's all these other things that I enjoy and I love doing and that I would happily do as like, you know, if we could make money off podcasting.
Oh, we need a second camera. So
like I do this once a week and then just make content and stuff.
Yeah,
but it's like because it's better than working in burgerism.
Yeah, like some shout out to burgerism. Don't ever you disrespect the brand like that ever again.
I need to get some. I need to try it. But anyway, it's like to me, it's better than just doing whatever else. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I don't know what quote unquote normal job I would do.
The suburban dream.
Exactly, because the thing is the suburban dream has never appealed to me. If anything, I've been anti-suburban dream. It wasn't until like recent years when I've got into a relationship that I really like and I can actually see that future.
Right.
That I'm like, okay, like there's bits of that I like the idea of, you know what I mean? It's chill and it's less stressful, you know what I mean, than what I'm trying to do currently, and it's more stable.
Yeah,
like even
if it's just a sort of like high risk, high reward sort of aspect of life, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But do you think that? What do you think about me pursuing a lower level career of music instead of changing fields completely? Do you think that's a good thing?
Yeah, I think that's fine, man. Like I definitely agree with like the dead aspect of fucking enjoy what you do. Like it's so common and it's fucking you hear it every time, but it is simple, but it makes the most sense, doesn't it? Like if you don't enjoy what you do for a job, getting your income, then you're not gonna have a fucking good time in life.
Yeah,
simple as that, mate. Like how many people do you know it's just fucking miserable because they go to this place every day, they do this thing that they don't like doing just to get the money in.
Literally, it's like it's a balance that I'm gonna have to try and find. Is like, where am I willing to
draw a line? Change the move the goal.
Get money in at the because it's like sometimes it would probably be like get money at the sacrifice of satisfaction, or have satisfaction at the sacrifice of money. You know what I mean? So you've got to have a good balance of that. Yeah. But I guess I've learned in recent years that through working in theatre and through becoming friends with people who are like jobbing musicians,
right?
That like when you were younger, the musician was the guy playing Glastonbury. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas in reality, if you walk around Liverpool, you see all the musicians in every bar. They're all playing. They're all making a living. They're all doing it every night and every weekend.
Yeah.
And like there's fucking lads that I know who are like session drummers, and they get a mortgage and it's fine. You know what I mean? Like it's not like being an unheard of musician means you're fucking broke. Like you can make a living out of just being a musician.
The societal views on that, or do you think it's just like pride that would stop someone like just kind of halting themselves in like looking at that top of the mountain, the dream goalpost, and going, you know what, I'll actually just stick to something like this?
I think, well, sometimes it might just be like the necessity of the situation they're in. You know, you've got to make a living, and it's better to make a living doing the lower level thing than working in Starbucks and still trying to do the higher level thing.
Yeah.
Because, there's only so much time as well. Like, you have to, if you're going to make the lower level thing your job, it's going to take up time. You know what I mean? That inevitably will be taken out of your chasing of the dream. So sometimes it's that, maybe sometimes it's just a lack of desire to be that, maybe like be the top level artists. Sometimes maybe it's you've tried to be the top level artist and it just doesn't work out, but you're settling for this. Like,
what would your opinions be if someone's like dream was to be like a session musician?
That's sound. Like, that's fine. And also, like, if you love, this is the point I'm getting to now, is like, if you love music, I'd give my fucking right leg to be able to say, I make money off music. I'm a professional musician. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Even in whatever capacity that is. My goal now is if I can make at least as much money as I do in theatre by playing music,
you'd be okay.
I'm okay for now. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm still in my early to mid 20s. Going fast and loose with the term early there.
A little crisis there, mid sentence.
So that's fine, that's the goal. Right. I was speaking to, this was like months ago, there's a musical director that I've worked with a few times, a guy called Howard Gray. Shout out Howard, good guy. And he's like, well, actually I don't want to cast aspersions on how old he is. I don't know how old he is, but he's like he's
a guy, he's a dude.
Middle-aged, dad age.
He's a dude.
I mean? And he was like we went out after a show one time and he was like half cut and he was like talking to me about his career and stuff because I was interested, and he was saying like, my kids don't think I'm cool. And I'm like,
says every dad ever, bro. You know what I mean?
I'm like, in fairness, like,
borrowing finesse,
I don't think that's true. Maybe it's true. Maybe they don't appreciate what he does, but it's like, whether he thinks he's like, quote unquote, made it as a musician or not, he played...
Was he a musical director?
Yeah, and he was, at the time he was playing in the band that was on in the show, so he was playing keys and bass, and I was like, I was thinking, like, you play for like 1,000 people 6 nights a week. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, from where I'm at currently, that's like
cool as fuck.
Cool, so cool. You know what I mean? And I've actually like tried to get like on shows recently. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I'm like, even if there's not, because at the time we were only doing like an adult panto, it was like a comedy thing. Even if there's no like artistic integrity in it, you're just playing covers essentially, while there's a silly storyline going on. You're still making a living as a jobbing musician that plays fun, for all these people every night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've been to the theatre. You've seen it's quite a big place. You know what I mean? To be on that stage every night, it'd be sick as fuck. even if it isn't performing your own music. So that's where I'm at mentally.
I adore the phrase "as fuck," mate. I say it all the time. If something's like, I don't know, a little bit grey, I'm like, oh, that's grey as fuck. That. Like there was a guy, again tangent, who was fucking interviewing for a job, and like I found out that he's got like fucking five kids. And I was like, how old are you? I was like, just old as fuck, mate. Just old as fuck. Like, someone said, how tall are you? I'm like, he's pretty tall as fuck, mate.
Yeah.
Like, there's no scale. It's just as fuck.
No.
But it's my favourite thing to say these days.
That is funny. Me and Sean have started just ending sentences with, oh, you know, like, whatever. Like, it's just like, you know, like, oh, and this happened, and this happened, and then this happened, or something, or whatever. I don't know.
I like that. That's cool.
But so where do you stand on it? Because obviously you're someone who has like dabbled in the arts world.
I was talking to Joe yesterday about this.
Has it ever been the dream?
No. Which
crazy.
is mad, isn't it? Because like I feel like every time we speak about it, you're like, oh, that's fucking crazy, bro. Like, how can you not be interested? But like, considering like I went to college and uni, with music, we've talked about it before, you know what I mean? But like, I was never like interested in pursuing a career in it.
Right.
That's a bit strange. Yeah, I just enjoyed it, man. I just wanted to learn.
So do you think you fall more into the category of the suburban dream?
There's definitely been times where like me and Ellie have been talking and it's like, what do you kind of want? And I was like, you know, I just enjoy like a really nice garden.
Yeah.
Like I just like my own space. Yeah. And like, you know, having somewhere that because I like being outside.
Yeah.
And like it's just somewhere like I could go and sit because like right now, like my background's got very low like fences, for example. Shit example, right? But I hate it. Yeah. It's like there's no privacy and stuff, so I feel like I can't go out there. So like I always said, you know, if I ever end up somewhere like I just want a nice garden, somewhere I can like.
It's the simple things sometimes.
But that's me in a nutshell. To be fair.
And I envy it. You know, like I've grown a appreciation of the simple things more.
Yeah.
But I do envy that like you could get these things that are so that are like kind of basic, really
attainable.
And just be happy with it. You know what I mean?
100%. Like sometimes, like if I go to the shops. Like, and I see something that I like a nice mug. Like, I love mugs.
Right.
Like, I'll be like, oh, like, that'll make my day, that fucking, that sick mug. Because I'm like, oh, I can get to use this mug all the time. That sort of stuff. But, like, it's a different, like, I was talking to Joe about, like, what, if I wanted to be anything in the industry, what would it be? And it was like, I'd either be interested in, like, A&R, or I'd be like co-executive producer, as we've talked about before. It just fucking doesn't exist. and he was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Well, I don't want to be the guy in the chair. Like, I don't want to be like I'm fine with like a chair that doesn't swivel next to him. You know,
co-executive
like,
producer.
I'd have
that's so you is like I want to be in charge, but not solely in charge because that's too much responsibility.
Yeah, but we were talking about wine. I was like, I get like it just comes down to like my confidence. Do you know what I mean? I was like, I just don't think I'd be able to be the guy that's like, making the decisions. Yeah. Like, I can definitely have input.
Yeah. Do you never feel like that's your zone, though? Like, do you not feel like the studio is your environment? Like, you've been making music for so long. Do you never... Like, it surprises me that you don't feel a sense of comfort in that world. Or do you only feel it like if we work on stuff, for example? Like, do you think you'd struggle to be like plopped into a session with someone?
Probably, yeah. Because like that's something like I know you and I know like how I'm comfortable around you.
Yeah, we know how we work.
Yeah, but like if I was with like a band or someone that's coming in trying to record something, and I had like an idea, and like I think there'd be a bit of like I'd have like a lack of like enthusiasm, to be like do this, do that. What do you think of this?
Right, yeah.
But I think I do like change and I like challenges. So I think if I was there for a time, it'd be okay. It's like if I was going to work in music, it'd only be like something I'd feel like for a short period of time, like an internship or like a semester. You know what I mean? Just go in, like having the work experience to see what it's like.
Yeah.
Maybe just like to kind of scratch the itch.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. But that's what I mean. Like the dream for me was never like high up.
Yeah.
But again, like I've got a mate who's fucking, when we was in school, his dream was to be a plasterer. Right. And now he's a plasterer. So he's literally living the dream.
What slightly scares me is like, what do you do then?
What, when you achieve that dream?
Yeah, because, well, you know what, actually, it probably scares me less in the field that I'm in, because, like, the ceiling musically is, like, never ending. You know what I mean?
This is what I was thinking before, like, when, in terms of, like, the dream and, like, achieving it and the goal and stuff, like, I think we've talked about it before, like, is that, like, for you, would it be, like, 4 albums? Would it be, like, 1 album done? Label wise, do you know what I mean? Would it be like a 6-year deal? Would it be like 1 million streams? Would it be sales?
This is the thing, like, I'll never be truly fully satisfied, because, like,
so even if you're doing,
it's always like
world stadium tours.
Oh yeah, there's satisfaction in it.
Yeah,
but I'll never think, or I think I'm unlikely to think, oh, I'm done. You know, like, I've done it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, I'm now on the path. You know what I mean? So the goal, the dream right now is to just be on the path where I can, like, live a creative existence.
Yeah, I think it takes a lot of self-awareness, man. It's like, I guess it's kind of like, you know, annual earnings. Like, if you're on, like, fucking, let's just say 20 grand, you're like, oh, I wish I was on more. Let's say you go to 24 grand. You're like, oh, it's just kind of the same as before. Like, I still think I need more. Next minute, you're on 28 grand, let's say, after, like, fucking 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, you're still going to be like, oh, decent, but
yeah,
I'd rather be making more.
Yeah, it's also, like, to do with my, like, intrigue and stuff. Like, there's always gonna be realms to explore.
Sure. So, like, do you mean, like, in terms of, like, you know, like the Beatles albums, like how fucking varied and different they are?
Yeah.
Compared to, like, Catfish's albums, which is like V3 of stuff.
Yeah. Have you Yeah, because, but you know what my thing is? It's all about, like, evolution and, like,
good
trying
film.
to push. But yeah, funny film actually. Like, trying to push boundaries and shit like this, and it's like, so there'll always be a space to go into. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like I said to Sean a while ago, like, I can envisage us by, like, the 4th album that we make, we'll have come back.
I don't think Sean will be around for 4 albums.
We were talking about this last night. He will. We'll have, like, come back round to, like, being a fully live instrumentation band again. You know what I mean? Because although that right now seems like territory that we've explored, by the time we've gone off into whatever realms, that will actually be the territory that we've not explored. You know what I mean? Album wise.
What, do you think in terms, like, obviously we know a few people in the industry that are, like, doing all right for themselves, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Tim and that.
Tim, do you know, like, Earl with, like, the fucking Glasso stuff, and, like, he puts on his own festivals, that sort of shit.
Yeah.
Your mate, Soft Lad, he's doing all right, isn't he?
Is he? Yeah.
He likes it because he keeps doing it, obviously.
Right, yeah.
That sort of, like, but they're all different levels of, like, what their dream could be, I guess.
Yeah. Was there a question in that?
Yeah, just saying, like, what do you think? Like, I'd be interested to hear, like, their opinions on what it is, because obviously they're people that have reached a level.
Yeah. Different
levels between them, but levels.
Yeah. Well, because I think as well, you're trying to juggle your current... You're trying to juggle your goals, like the place that you want to be at, and the pursuit of that, with also the maintenance of where you're at now. So I would imagine for someone like Jono, who's a sort of lower level producer, he's running a studio, he obviously has these places that he wants to get
Even
to.
That's crazy though, isn't it? Like he fucking runs his own studio.
Yeah, that is mad.
Like he does, like, a lot of shit, man.
Yeah, it's cool, I guess, for him to be able to be like, and maybe he doesn't think about it like this, maybe he doesn't give a fuck, but, like, it's cool for him to be able to say, my job is a engineer and a producer and stuff, you know what I mean?
But you can just go like, oh, see this? I recorded and mixed that.
Yeah, but also, like, do you remember when we interviewed him and he was like...
He doesn't like it.
Well, it's not even that he doesn't like it, it was just never his plan, he just fell into it, you know what I mean? And that's mad, because, like, you see people who have fell into these things, or even if they've, like, pursued it, but just got there quite easily, and it's like... Not that he takes it for granted, maybe, but I know a lot of people fucking do, mate. Like, I've worked with a lot of actors, right, who are just, like, such dicks.
Yeah.
Like, and I remember thinking, like, I would give so much to be in your position, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And acting isn't even my thing, you know what I mean? I haven't acted in years, but it's like, you're still in a better position I am, and all you're doing is fucking whinging about it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it might not be the West End, it might not be where you want to be, but you're fucking 10 steps closer than most people who try and
100%,
make
mate.
it in that world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's where I think that comes back to when I said before about like the self-awareness.
Yeah.
Of knowing like when your life's changed and where you're at is like steps closer to what you want to do from where you was. Yeah. And I think like a lot of people don't take the time to kind of look in retrospect and see the journey and see how different their life is. Like I say, like a year ago, or even like 6 months ago, or like just how far they've come. Yeah, it's sad actually. Like people need to respect themselves more.
You have to appreciate it as well. You know what I mean, for what it is. Like, there's a drummer that I know and I've worked with a few times. Shout out to Greg Joy, right?
Fucking hell, we're just giving shout outs.
We're just giving shout outs, man. But Greg's like, he's a fucking great drummer. But what I love about him is that he always looks so fucking happy to be playing the drums. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know what he envisaged for himself when he was a kid, whether he wanted to be in an originals band or whether he was just happy to be playing the drums. But like, his philosophy is very much like, I'm going to take as much drumming jobs as I can because I'm not going to be able to do this when I'm older, and so I'm doing it right now. This is the dream. This is it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he always just seems overjoyed to be doing it, and I appreciate that. You know what I mean? I like to see that, and I think I've learned from seeing things like that where it's like, oh, you know, if I was in that position, I'd also love it because it's a step closer.
How would you feel if you had a life like Tony's?
What, teaching?
Well, it's fucking like Hannah Montana, innit? That's Tony's life.
Yeah. So, I mean, context, right, for anyone who hasn't seen the pod or heard us talk about it before, our tutor from when we were in college, Ant Files, a.k.a. Tony, is in a band called the Lancashire Hot Pots.
I don't know, I feel it's fucking Tony's full name.
He's the bass player, right? And he goes under the name Bob Riggles.
Bob Riggles, mate.
Right. So he teaches like BTEC music technology, which is what we did. And
by night.
And then by night, he's touring with this band, and they do really well and shit.
He's in the spotlight, bro.
On the Fezzies and that.
Fezzy circuit every year, mate. Every year since I've known him. He's on the bill.
I don't know if I'd want to teach, but if I could, you know,
but I just mean that sort of like juxtaposition of
thing of like doing one thing and then, like, I guess that's at this point, Jack, I'll fucking take whatever I can get, man.
But like that to me seems like very close to dream level. Do you know what I mean? Like literally half of his time for work, is the biz.
Yeah, the dream right now is just to be able to make money from being a musician.
Timestamp it. Make money being a musician.
This is the 24th of August, 2023.
So would you class busking? Making more than busking.
You don't make much money busking.
I've never done it. You have.
You don't. It wasn't really. We did it when we were kids, man. It wasn't really worth it.
The double XP.
And also, you have to. Now you have to have a license, which I assume costs money. So.
You need a license?
Yeah.
Well, like PRS breathing down your neck, bro, for singing in the street.
No, you just need a busking license to be like a street performer.
Fuck off. You need a busking license. Is that actually true?
Most cities, yeah. Liverpool's got it, man. I think...
Who's going to stop you and pull you over?
Well, I was saying...
Sorry, sir. Can you just stop your CMH card there, please? Can I please see your busking pass?
I was saying this to Abby the other day because I looked into it purely because I want to practice. And I feel like it would really make me a more confident performer if I just stood in a street full of people and played songs, right?
Yeah.
So I was toying with this idea and I looked into it and it was like, oh, you need a busking license. And I didn't really look into it much after that because I was like, one, I can't be arsed applying or finding out. And I don't know how much it costs.
Yeah.
But I was like, I wonder if I put a sign up saying, you don't need to pay me, I'm just practicing. Is that technically busking? Is it busking if you don't do it for money? You know what I mean?
But then...
And I also said, like, I wonder how many people actually get stopped and asked for their busking license. You know what I mean?
I think if you say, I don't know, it's stuff like, if you say, like, I am not busking, but you're singing in the street, like, you are busking, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know how much you could get away with that as an argument, to be fair, if you just said that you weren't busking. But I don't even know why they have a license. I assume it's just so that the street isn't, like, inundated with people. it'd be funny if you had to like audition.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could only perform on the street if you're good enough.
Trying to think like what else you would need a license for. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the crack is. Maybe it's just in case like shit goes down. It's an insurance.
Is that noise?
Thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Noise pollution.
Yeah. So I sort of discarded that as an option. I mean, I wouldn't want to do it for money anyway because you don't make fuck all, basically. Like when we used to do it, we used to go Chester because you didn't need a license. And
Do you think busking is about the money though, or do you think it's about like the exposure?
I don't know. I don't really know why people do it, to be honest.
I bought a mixtape once of some random guy in Manchester.
Guy in the street, yeah.
Yeah, never listened to it.
No, I've had many.
But I appreciate the hustle. I appreciate the ad hustle.
Yeah.
And he was playing when we was there, and he was talking to me only for about 2-3 minutes, just about like what he's doing and what his plans are. He's like, "Can listen if you want, it's $5 per CD." I said, "Fuck it, go on then." Could have been blank for all I know.
You know, you got to support small artists, haven't you? Really, I suppose.
Yep, that's the way, innit? Ground up.
Yeah. But they're just trying to fucking follow the dream, man.
Just trying to reach the dream. That is so true, bro. I just think dream big is like what people should be doing, but you've got to put yourself some posts in to be like, some targets. Targets are always smart targets in the business world.
It's like, you know, on Super Mario Brothers, when you get past a certain point, so if you die, you go back to that.
I'm to blow your mind right now.
Yeah. You never played Super Mario Brothers?
No.
Well, it happens on a lot of games, you know, where you get past a checkpoint, so if you fucking die, you don't go back to the beginning, you just go back to the checkpoint.
Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, so it's like the end, the dream is the end goal of the game, right?
Yeah.
But you're setting
the dream is 10th prestige.
You're setting these checkpoints of like where you could, you know, sit for a bit. You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
The like mini goals in it, I suppose.
Do you know what, mate? Like, it's a shame that you don't play COD. Because in COD, right, there's this thing called prestiging.
Yeah.
And like, let's say the max level is 50.
Right.
Like, once you get to level 50, you've like unlocked everything.
Mm-hmm.
But you can have an option to prestige.
Yeah.
So like everything kind of resets. You just get like a higher class setting.
Mm-hmm.
So like the more you play it, the more XP you get. It's just giving you more tasks and challenges to do. But you have to like kind of unlock things again. And like 10th prestige in Modern Warfare 2 is like the ceiling. Like you can't, if you 10th prestige level 50, you are fucking god, mate. Like you can't do any more than that.
Yeah.
But like there's always a choice to prestige or to not prestige. And I guess that's kind of like life.
Right.
Like you can kind of sit where you are and be happy, like, oh, you've sort of made it to the ceiling of where you want to be.
Yeah.
Or you can take the gamble, risk it, and like push on, like start a new like a goal, or it could be like a new job or something else, just a new challenge.
Yeah.
And see how far you get that way.
Yeah. One thing that we didn't discuss so much, we sort of brushed on before, that's just reminding me of, is like you need to decide your priorities in terms of like I said, when I was younger, all that mattered was like the art. Whereas now you're like, oh yeah, but you also have to make money. And it's like, okay, where do I want to sit on the socioeconomic scale?
Where are you putting your slider?
Yeah. And it's like, I think the median UK salary is 33 grand, right? And I don't like that. That's not enough.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I also want a good life, you know? And I don't know what your average musician earns low level, you know, if you're just a performer. But I'm assuming it's not.
Maybe it's the lower level musicians that are doing this £100 a month OnlyFans side hustle.
Right. So maybe you're saying I should consider it.
Just any passive income, if that's what you're after.
So I've just been kind of thinking of like, I think after the whole COVID thing, I just got really sick of being poor. So then I worked a bit harder and made a bit more money like last year.
This is giving me Molly May vibes, bro.
I'm still poor now. I have less.
I work slightly harder.
I have less than £1,000 in savings. I'll tell you that much.
But yeah, I get what you're saying.
So last year I worked a bit harder and I
decided to make a change.
I travelled more. I was like, I want to live a better quality of life, right?
Yeah.
And since then, travel has become something that I value. So it's like I want to be able to afford to live okay, but also like, you know,
be able to do things you enjoy.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm I'm not. It'd be nice to be rich, but I don't really give a fuck about being like a millionaire or anything like that. Like, I
just enough to like for you to enjoy, like you're saying, to do things.
You know, like you said before, like, oh, it'd be sick to just buy that cup, right?
Yeah, bro.
Like, if I could see, because my aspirations for material items aren't massive, so if I could just like see small things that I wanted and not have to, because there's always the thing at the back of my brain of like, should you be spending your money on this?
Yeah,
because money is limited.
Money is the fucking the world blood.
Yeah, and like when you haven't got a lot of money, the smallest thing, you know, even like I come out of the gym the other day and I was like, oh, it's warm, I fancy an iced coffee. It's like, but should I be buying an iced coffee? You know what I mean? All I want to do is be able to just not have to
not
get rid of that low background hum of like, can I afford this? You know what I mean? Because I've been down to my last $5, so I appreciate what a $5 is.
$5, that you know does piss me off. It's like, only a tenner. It's like, bro, it's like only 50 quid. Something like that sort of level of money. I was like, what do you mean it's only 50 quid? Like, some people would fucking snatch your hand off for a chance at 50 quid.
But it's weird as well, because equally when I, you know, the periods of time when I do have money, I'll happily spend it on the people around me. But I won't, in a way that I wouldn't spend it on myself.
100%. I'm exactly the same. Like, if I've got like a bit of money there, like I don't need.
Yeah.
But I know that like someone like is into something or wants something or like, I guess like I used to kind of look at it at like, obviously like at the start of like relationships and stuff, like, oh, I'd be spending it on like someone else and stuff. But now like I kind of like it, definitely with like experiences and travel and stuff, it's like, oh, it's not that bothered, like, because it'll be for the both of us, sort of thing. So that kind of doesn't matter.
Yeah, and it's also like
I definitely value experiences over money, though.
Well, this is the thing, right? You have to put. It's almost like you should put a monetary value on things that don't have monetary values to make you realize whether you prefer money or the experience. So, like, to me, the experience of doing something is probably worth more than its monetary value, because it's gonna last, or it's at least worth its monetary value. So it's gonna. What
do you mean like spending money like going somewhere, like fucking?
Yeah. So all right. Example is I'm gonna go to Berlin in November, right?
Yeah. I never fucking at the end of this.
So I'm gonna go to Berlin in November, and at first I was like, oh, I'm trying to be conservative with my money and get savings up and stuff. Like, and even though, like, I know where my work sits for the next few months, I know that I'll be okay. It's not going to break the bank for me to do a few days in Berlin. I'm like, oh, yeah, but should I just save that money? It's like, yeah, but the experience is going to be worth more than the saving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the money that you would spend to go to Berlin isn't the value of going to Berlin.
Yeah.
It's that money plus the experience.
100%, yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can't really put an actual monetary value on
that.
I
agree, mate. I think you've just said it on like a bigger spectrum. It's like something I would say is like, me and the fellas went watching the cricket last week and it was only 20 quid.
Yeah.
But like 20 quid for the ticket, and then obviously I was going to spend money while I was there.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, do I want to be spending that money on like fuck all, basically?
Yeah.
It was like, well, actually, like I had a really good time at the cricket. I seen like my friends, you know, quality time with people, being outside, that sort of good stuff. Like that is valued more than.
But it's like, I think I was saying to you
the expense
about Disney when we went Disneyland, because you were asking, oh, did like we take our own food in?
Yeah.
And I was like, I just accepted the fact that beforehand the food in Disney is expensive, but it's part of the experience. 100%. So I'm going to buy some and I'm just going to enjoy it because we're here. This is what it is. You know what I mean? And I think that's important. Like, and because I always have it if like, if I'm trying to think of a good example. Maybe if I'm trying to like do a cost benefit analysis in my head of like, is it cheaper to fucking get the train or get the Uber to the hotel or stuff like that? It's like, sometimes the more expensive thing in my head is less expensive because it takes less time.
Yeah.
So like, if I don't know what you get paid hourly, and I don't know if you're comfortable fucking saying that. But let's say, all right. Well, let's say for example, you earn fucking £15.
Oh yeah, I get what you're saying. Though, you're like, oh, if I do this, it's like 4 hours worth of my time.
Exactly right. So if you say, let's as an example, you get paid £15 an hour, right?
The dream. That's a fucking dream for a lot of people out there. Yeah. Let's go 10 to make it nice and round.
Okay.
£10.
Is that below minimum wage though now?
I don't know.
let's say you get paid $12.50 an hour, right? and you're thinking, okay, well, I need to do whatever, like I need to fucking do a bit of housework, bit of DIY or whatever, or I could pay a guy to come do it, right? It's like, if it's going to take me 4 hours, is that going to be, it doesn't cost me more in time than it would cost to just pay the guy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where the cost benefit analysis should be, because
So I think that's a crazy way to see things. Ellie does that.
Yeah, because otherwise it's like you're losing time is money. We know this.
Time
right?
is money.
You're losing time, therefore money. Right? Like you could spend that time either making money or this is like a finance pro podcast. Like Andrew Tate. You could spend that time hustling and fucking making money, or just doing something that is worth having the time for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you just got to take time for yourself, and that's worth money in my book.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Like, is it worth, like wasting your own time and doing...
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to get too fucking deep into that sort of rabbit hole of time and cost.
Right, yeah. But yeah, this is a music podcast.
But the dream.
Yeah.
Will you be sad if you don't fulfill your dream? Do you think it will affect your mental health?
Yeah, definitely. I just don't know what else I would do. You know, yeah, and I also worry that even if we were talking about having the low level expectations of what your dream could be, even if I make a career in music on a very low level, it would satisfy me for now because it's better than my current situation. But if I just sat in that position and couldn't get any higher in the industry, then that would really...
Would you continue doing something else for a job as well? Or do you think you'd just do that? Because like you said, like, because you'd actually enjoy...
Right, you want to hear, like, this is my, like, privileged position and opinion talking, but I have never really...
Fucking disclaimer.
Like, literally...
Have a disclaimer.
I've been incredibly lucky to never have to do a job that wasn't, like, in the arts.
That's true.
So, like, I've only ever really worked...
In music.
In music and theatre and stuff like that, which is great. So I don't think I could... If I was, like, a musician that was making, like, a bit of money, like, sort of enough to get by, but it wasn't quite enough, and then I had to, like, work in a Starbucks... I'd struggle with that. You know what I mean? Because, like,
I know what you mean. You struggle with, like, your...
Basically, my issue is that if I spend any time doing something that isn't the things that fulfill me, like, it really bugs me. Like, even doing theatre is like, okay, but I'm wasting time because this isn't the thing that fulfills me. You know what I mean? And obviously, you're not wasting time because you get paid for it, and that is useful for other things. Like, I wouldn't have been able to travel as much as I did last year had I not have been working like I did, right? So I'm grateful, especially after the COVID thing. If you work in the arts, you just have to be grateful to have a fucking job, you know? Because there's loads of people that struggle a lot more than I do. But I would struggle to have to do something that was completely removed from that just to get dough, you know? It really fucks with my head.
I guess I kind of look at it as like, you know, if you're doing your lower level music industry thing, you know, fucking vague example of a sentence that takes up a lot of the time, like that you would do in your normal job.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you can pause that and go and do, like, you know, the theatre for fucking 2 months.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, you'd have to do something either, like, on your own at home that's, you know, a bit of income, whatever it is.
Yeah, I need like a side hustle.
Yeah.
Because I was even talking to Abby the other day about, like, there's going to be a transition period while I'm trying to get gigs and stuff, like bar jobs, where I might have to work a theatre show and then go play sets afterwards. Yeah. Because, like, you look at someone like Abby Rose Kelly, right? She's obviously an artist, but she also plays sets for money, and that's how she makes a living. Like, you look on her Instagram and she's like, okay, I'm in McCooley's 8 to 11 and then Lanigan's fucking 11 till 1 a.m. You know what I mean? So, like, it might be a case of do the theatre thing and then run across town and play a set for 2 hours. You know what I mean? But to be fair, like that's only what I was talking about Greg, the drummer, before, and that's only what he does. He'll play the theatre show and then he'll run across town and play another gig somewhere else. You know?
What, drumming?
Yeah,
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. If he gets pissed off if the show like starts to run over or whatever, if people start improving,
got places to be,
and he's like, he'll like literally run off his fucking drum riser and just grab his shit and go straight away because he has to be across town for another gig. But that's the life, man.
But I think like the conclusion of this conversation is like we know people that are taking strides towards their dream. Like a lot of times, like when stuff isn't going well or you're not quite in the position you want to be, you can kind of think that like the dream is fucking certainly unattainable. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just fucking never gonna happen and stuff.
Yeah.
Like people definitely have their moments, but as I said before, you got to kind of look. It definitely like if you're starting something or you've been working on something, kind of look at your own progress.
Yeah.
And that's steps in it. And as long as you're making steps, I think you're on a winning path.
You have to try and have as much objectivity about the whole thing as you can, really, because otherwise it is easy to become disheartened.
Yeah, that's why social media is a fucking shit show, man.
Oh, don't even get me started, man. I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
I'm sick of it.
I was saying to you yesterday, I'm going to do a cleanse soon and just fucking start deleting shit.
Well, I tell you what has helped is I've told you this, so I'll tell these this. I got a new phone recently because my contract
There
ended.
you go. There's the breaking news.
And I just kept my old phone as well. So now I have two. I have my actual phone, which like this has just got like text, a call on it. It's got Snapchat and Messenger. Be real, you know, just like
the important shit.
Yeah, the important shit. And because it's like I still need to be on social media because I'm trying to promote a band and a podcast and YouTube videos and stuff. So I kept my other phone and that's got Instagram and TikTok and stuff on.
Yeah.
So, you know, very rarely now will I scroll social media. I'll just go and grab the other phone when I need to post something and then I'll fucking put it back down and check the analytics.
Do you ever think that will make you be like a bit off pace though?
Well, I do worry like out of touch with the trends and shit.
Yeah.
A little bit, but also like I think my content doesn't, be it like this or music, doesn't really revolve around what's popping too much. Like
just like we've had the conversation before where like people that are doing well these days kind of have to be like a jack of all trades and dabble everywhere.
Yeah, which is why I do so much though, because it is the fact that I'm like doing a podcast and being a musician and having a YouTube channel. It's like these are all just options. Obviously, I prefer one is more the dream than the others, but I still enjoy the others, and I'm just keeping my options open for all the potential things that I could do. But so my point being is that it has helped me because you see social media differently when you step back from it.
Right.
Now I'm thinking, why would I want to scroll TikTok? You know what I mean? It's like, it's entertaining, but only in the sense of like bright lights and colours and ooh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the content is so short form that it's very rare that there's going to be anything that's genuinely impactful to the way you live your life. But
that's, you know, that's a bit extreme. Like if something's genuinely impactful the way you live your life, like what's the last thing you can say that you've like seen that has genuinely impacted the way you live your life?
I watched something this morning.
Go on
YouTube. See, because even YouTube's like better for it because you can do a lot more in 10 minutes.
Context.
You can do a lot more in 10 minutes than you can in 30 seconds. That's why I really struggle in this age. Is like I can't express things properly artistically in 30 seconds. Like it's not, and I don't think many people can like say something actually genuinely meaningful in 30 seconds. Because even when we do clips, it's like, okay, like you kind of get the point of what I'm trying to say, but without the context, you could easily misconstrue it. Yeah. But this morning I watched a thing on YouTube, and there's this artist called I don't even know, it's a filmmaker. His name fucking escapes me. I'll find it. But basically his whole like shtick is that he films everything. Like it's like an ongoing piece of art. Is like he literally films his entire life. Right. It's like performance art thing. And he did a thing, there's a video called Getting Stoned with Matty Healy. It's a 40-minute long thing. His name is Kaveh Zahedi, maybe something like that.
Right.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. And essentially, like Matty meets with him to discuss, they're both their artistic projects and stuff. But it turns into like Matty kind of interrogating him about like, yeah, but is the art really important enough to like, because he's getting a divorce and stuff. It's like, it's like jeopardized his whole relationship. Yeah, because
I've seen the clip.
There was a clip from, because it got featured in a 1975 thing. They've been doing them theatrical performance of a intimate moment videos on YouTube.
Right.
There was a clip of it in that, but this is like the full thing. And like it was just a really interesting back and forth, you know what I mean? And that was like, whoa.
Like genuinely impacted the way you live your life.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think you can have wow things that don't impact your life.
Yeah, but it's only for the sake of entertainment.
That's what I mean, like entertainment.
But
exactly.
but this is the problem with now is like we're so entertained.
Are you not entertained?
Can we not just have a minute? But and then this is my constant dilemma though, is because like, are we just adding to the noise? You know what I mean? Is what we're saying genuinely important, or are we just adding to the consistent noise?
The hum.
The hum that everyone's plugged into. Sorry to...
Right.
Just before I forget this, because originally what I was saying about like, why would I want to scroll TikTok? It's like, really the only reason people got on TikTok is because people were getting on TikTok, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it was the pandemic and people were bored and they had more time and shit, but it's like, you wouldn't go out your way to use it as much if it wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You didn't want it until you knew that everyone else was using it.
TikTok is like instant gratification.
Yeah, I call it the anti-meditation. It's the exact opposite of what I tried to achieve with a meditation practice.
Yeah, like sometimes it's weird now because I get the feeling like, oh, I need my what's the word? I need to be what's the word? Not like intimidated, but like I need to be fucking. What's the word, bro?
I don't know what you're trying to explain.
Like I'll be at home and I'm like, oh, I need to be like not entertained, but I need to be. So I'm giving you an eye. I'm sure it is, bro.
Right, I get what you're saying. I know what you mean though, from context, and I'm sure they could work it out as well.
Like if I find myself doing nothing, I'm like, I need I need to be watching something, or I need to be.
I'm bad for like just like putting something on in the background.
Sensory, I need to be like
there's noise. You know what I mean?
But in terms of like us and the hum, like I think the difference is like realistically, like fucking what's that doing? Fuck all. Do you know what I mean? But
so exactly. So like, is it even
like the only thing we're getting out of this is like our actual conversation,
right?
Like the thing that happens after every time we do this is you go, that was a good chat. That.
Yeah.
More than anything else, you don't go, oh, we've got a fucking few good clips here.
Right. Yeah.
You don't go, well, yeah, that'll do well on TikTok. Or sometimes you say that.
Yeah.
But every time we finish, you go, that was a good chat. That.
Yeah, it's for us.
If anything, like when people ask me, like, oh, like, what did you do in the podcast? If anything, it just gives me an opportunity to go and speak to Liam every now and again.
Yeah.
It gives us, a chance to catch up and like fucking interact.
Yeah. Shoot the shit.
Shoot the shit, mate. So in terms of adding to the hum, I guess it's like fucking. We do we have a good conversation. I enjoy it. We get each other thinking. And like the
stuff like this is good.
Yeah.
Like this is interesting.
And like if we get something out of it, I guess that's just the point in it. Like maybe fucking someone else will.
I think that's why I like doing conversations like this, and like the new music reviews and like the ranked episodes are fun. It's fun content.
We should do a Daft Punk ranked.
That's a good idea. But even that, it's just because it's fun.
Yeah,
it's just because
that's the entertainment.
But sometimes with that, I'm like, especially if it's like a new music review, I've been thinking like, okay, this is a big album and people are talking about it. Like, does anyone need to hear what I think about it? Like, really? You know what I mean? Like, who cares? Like,
I guess what my opinions on that is, right, sometimes like I'll be scrolling and like there's these two guys who I always see and I fucking don't know what it is, what podcast they do or what, but they piss me off. Like they're like, the conversation is just like not real. Do you know what I mean? However, it's like scripted or what, or like they're just like overly enthusiastic. I don't know. They're American, and I'm watching it. I'm like, this fucking blows my mind. Like your conversation is frustrating me.
Which ones?
Don't know the names.
What are they talking about?
They say a lot. They're just like, oh, you know that song by someone, and I'm like, oh, you know they did this and it means this. Like, who gives a fuck, man?
Yeah.
Like, just the way it's. To be fair, what they're saying like could be decent.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just the way they're putting it out there.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, we'd be having the conversations anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even the new music review stuff, like, we'd discuss the albums.
So,
but
new album, what do you think? I'm like, yeah, appreciate you.
Yeah, we wouldn't discuss it in like an hour-long conversation.
No, but I guess that's just like, I'm interested in like the production of stuff and like the actual sound and stuff, and like how different it is to other things.
I guess just sometimes I think like, because I enjoy doing this, right? But then I almost feel
that's
like
a good start.
Guilty of like, do we really need to be putting this out? You know what I mean? Not that I wouldn't do it. Like, I always want to do the podcast, man.
Right.
We were talking about this the other day of like, I was like, do you think we'll still be doing the podcast in fucking however many years? And you were like, yeah, I think we'd do it more in the future than we would now because we'd be less busy. But just maybe it's just the whole like attention economy thing of like having to clip stuff for TikTok to try and get people to give a fuck is like, I'm like, do people care? Like why? Like, what's the? I don't know. I get all existential about it.
I don't know.
I'm not asking.
Like, I don't know if people care
for an answer about it. People probably don't care, but I'm just like. Well, I guess what I'm saying is I get really sick of social media, and then I'm like, well, I'm a fucking hypocrite because
you admit to
like we add to the thing. You know what I mean?
I get what you mean.
But I would recommend a social media cleanse because you start to think like, oh, all these things that like I thought I cared about, I actually don't care about.
Yeah, 100%. But like, I guess a point to end on is like, you literally said you watched a thing this morning that has genuinely impacted your life. Like, that is out there. It's just crowded in the sea of shit in it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like social media, like, is bad, and it's in abundance unhealthy. But there is stuff that people get out of it.
Yeah.
So
true.
like, adding to it doesn't mean you're adding to the pile of shit.
Yeah, true. And I guess the same could be said about like music and stuff. The way it is at the minute, there's just
imagine if people just said like, there's enough music
so
out there.
Much dross of like just bullshit content and bullshit music. And it's like, what we are doing, I guess, is real. You know what I mean? It's a genuine conversation about our genuine thoughts that is meant to not only further us in terms of like we get something out of this conversation, but also it's like if people find this useful, and that's cool as well. You know what I mean?
That's the point in it. If people give a fuck, nice one, fair play. If people don't give a fuck, who are you harming?
Yeah. I'll leave you with one of my favourite, if we're drawing to an end, I'll leave you with one of my favourite comments we've ever got on a clip of this podcast. Because we were talking about TikTok comments on the last episode.
How pasty we are.
Someone said, has someone ever said that?
Probably, yeah, I assume so.
Someone said, speak for yourself. Someone said, yeah, not everyone needs a podcast. And like, maybe they don't, but maybe some people want them. So that's been stereotypical.
Yeah, well. Not as zen as before.
No. We stopped talking about the dream like half an hour ago.
It got real. I think
got real, man.
Yeah, like thinking about the dream made us be realistic about said dream, and then digressed onwards. Either way, fucking hell.
Well, do you want what?
Don't we to think of a tactical track?
No, it's alright. No. You didn't prep it in beforehand. That's fine.
Think of something.
No, it's all good, man. We'll do one on the next episode. But yeah, thanks for watching, man. We appreciate it. We appreciate all your support. If you are listening to the audio only version, you please do like follow us or whatever. Do you follow podcasts on Spotify? Is that a thing? Subscribe to whatever it is. If you're watching the YouTube version,
you can follow.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel. All the links to our social media and stuff are in the description.
We hate social media, but if you want to,
we hate it. Yeah, if you want this, but in 30-second chunks and the other way round, then follow us on TikTok and Instagram.
This I word's gonna haunt me, you know. This word will haunt me.
Well, we'll tell you in the next episode.
Bonus clip.
Yeah, bonus clip. Well, thanks for listening and watching. We'll see you in the next one. Him with the Peace Jack.
Oh.